Abi Webster's secret romance with her brother-in-law Carl is finally uncovered, leaving her husband Kevin devastated in Wednesday's episode of Coronation Street. Up to now, things between the separated couple have remained civil, with Kevin even insisting that Abi attend Ronnie Bailey's birthday dinner at the bistro. Kevin's sister Debbie, who is also Ronnie's partner, already knows about Abi and Carl's forbidden affair. Although disgusted by their betrayal, she has chosen to stay silent for Kevin's sake, but only if Carl agreed to end things with Abi, which he failed to do. At the celebration, Carl feels tense sitting between his two lovers, Abi and James Bailey, while Abi remains unaware that Carl is cheating on her too. Debbie quickly picks up on the closeness between Carl and Abi and confronts Abi, telling her to cut ties with Carl immediately. Later, when Debbie advises Kevin to contact a solicitor because Abi can't be trusted, Abi spots their serious talk and assumes that Debbie is revealing her affair. In a panic, Abi sends Carl a text claiming that Kevin has found out, but mistakenly sends the message to Kevin's phone instead. Carl scrambles to get hold of Kevin's mobile to erase the text, but before he can, Abi's betrayal is exposed in front of everyone. Shocked by his wife's unfaithfulness and his half-brother's deception, Kevin erupts in anger, while Debbie struggles with guilt over her role in the cover-up. Once tempers settle, Kevin takes an unexpected course of action, but what will it be? Later that week, Kevin will be shown kicking Abi out of his life and throwing her possessions onto the street. Will Abi come to regret choosing Carl once more of his secrets are revealed? Coronation Street recruits former Hollyoaks actor for intense Todd and Theo plot as he teases "Catch Me on the Cobbles." The performer has confirmed he'll be joining the cast of the ITV soap. A one-time Hollyoaks favorite has revealed he's set to appear on Coronation Street, telling fans to "catch me on the cobbles" after being cast in a dark new storyline. Regular viewers of the long-running soap know that Todd Grimshaw is currently trapped in a coercive and controlling relationship with his partner Theo Silverton. Their romance has already hit several rocky points, and after fans began expressing concern over Theo's behavior, his manipulation has grown even more visible. He recently attempted to isolate Todd from his close friends Billy Mayhew and Sarah Platt. Before the abuse escalated, Theo violently pinned Todd against the kitchen sink and force-fed him a kebab. Despite the disturbing incident, Todd has tried to move on, agreeing to share Dee Dee Bailey's old flat with Theo. However, Theo's sinister nature is far from gone. In upcoming episodes, Todd is pushed to his limit by Theo's psychological torment. Anxious about some medical test results, Todd confides in George Shuttleworth, saying he's preparing for the worst and wants to start organizing his own funeral, leaving George deeply unsettled. Following advice from Christina Boyd, George checks Todd's emails and discovers a message from the hospital confirming an appointment. Christina then insists that George accompany Todd for support. Meanwhile, over at the bistro, Theo meets with Gary Windass and newcomer Pete to discuss a potential business deal. Spotting Billy Mayhew and Summer Spellman nearby, Theo approaches them, pretending to be concerned about Todd and hinting that Todd is hiding something, making Billy visibly uncomfortable. At the hospital, Todd is thankful to have George by his side before going in to meet the doctor. Later, when Billy receives a call from Todd, he rushes outside to hear better. While back at the bistro, Theo hides his anger and begins ordering rounds of shots. The next day, hungover Todd returns home only to face Theo's rage. When he apologizes for spending the night at Billy's and insists nothing happened, he's stunned to see Pete walking out of the bathroom. Theo, showing no remorse, accuses Todd of lying and sneaking around for days. Todd eventually admits he's been keeping a health scare secret, but Theo manipulates the situation and blames him instead, pushing Todd to breaking point. Furious, Todd finally tells Theo to leave. It's then revealed that Pete is played by Hollyoaks alumnus Andrew Hayden Smith, who portrayed corrupt police detective Gavin Armstrong in the Channel 4 soap between 2016 and 2017. Andrew is also recognized for roles in Biker Grove, Doctor Who, Cucumber, and Banana. Sharing the news on Instagram, Andrew posted a photo outside the iconic Rovers Return pub, writing, "Off to Weatherfield, BRB. Catch me on the cobbles as Pete Lang soon." His announcement was met with plenty of excitement. Presenter Angelica Bell commented, "Finally, I can start talking about it." While Ryland Clark added, "Congrats, mate." Hollyoaks actress Nadine Mulcairn gushed, "Corey just got hotter." And drag artist Danny Beard simply wrote, "Love this." Another setback for recovering Tyrone as he suffers a fall on Coronation Street. Tyrone Dobbs' life was turned upside down after he became the victim of a devastating hit and run. Reckless teenagers Dylan Wilson and Brody Michaelis lost control of a stolen car as they swerved to avoid Betsy Swain, crashing straight into Tyrone and leaving him with severe, life-changing injuries. He was discovered by Carla Connor and DS Lisa Swain, who immediately called for help. Tyrone was rushed to hospital, where his loved ones, Fizz Dobbs and his mother, Cassie Plummer, were told that he had sustained 2 fractured vertebrae and a dangerous blood clot pressing on his spine, requiring urgent surgery. When Tyrone finally regained consciousness, he was horrified to realize he couldn't feel his legs. Doctors later explained that it could take years before any sensation might return. As he's waking up, he's clearly in a lot of pain, and then comes the dawning realization that something is very wrong. He can't feel his legs, actor Alan Halsell previously said. There's sheer panic, confusion about what's happened, why he's like this. He's absolutely terrified. At first, there's real concern he may never walk again. Everyone, Fizz, the kids, his mom, his gran, is scared. They don't know what the future holds, but Tyrone knows they'll face it together as a family, Alan added. After a long and painful recovery in hospital, Tyrone was finally allowed home, but now depends on a wheelchair and the constant support of his loved ones to manage daily life. Speaking about the extra pressure on Fizz, Alan explained, "Tyrone knows a lot of responsibility will fall on Fizz between the kids, her job, and the house. He's aware of that and doesn't want to add to her stress." Next week, Tyrone remains determined to follow his rehabilitation routine, with Cassie assisting him through his exercises. However, easily distracted, Cassie grows restless and dashes off to meet her boyfriend Steve after receiving a message from him. When she returns, she's horrified to find Tyrone sprawled on the floor in agony, having fallen out of his wheelchair. Tyrone's continuing storyline aims to shed light on the genuine struggles faced by those living with spinal injuries. The Spinal Injuries Association has been closely involved in advising the show's writers to ensure an accurate and sensitive portrayal. Showing how this affects Tyrone's life and the lives of those around him will help raise awareness of what the 105,000 people living with spinal cord injuries in the UK experience, many of whom struggle to access vital care and support, a spokesperson for the charity said. Alan praised the show's commitment to realism, adding, "Coronation Street has done brilliant research. The thing about spinal injuries is that every person's experience is different. I've been asking the on-set medical team questions like, how far could I move my shoulders? How much movement might I have in my neck? Because every case is unique, there's no fixed recovery timeline, which actually helps us tell the story more naturally. But we're also mindful that real people are living through this. The charity is even arranging for me to meet someone who has faced a similar situation, which will be invaluable in bringing authenticity to Tyrone's journey."